Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. In today's video from mathematics subject, real numbers topic we are going to learn. So in our previous video we have learned some basics regarding the real numbers. So let's learn some more concepts in this video. So actually any natural number can be written as product of prime factors. So we know about natural numbers. They are denoted by the symbol n. They are also called as counting numbers starting from 1. So any natural number, it can be written as the product of prime factors. We are aware of prime numbers and composite numbers. So we can write it as a product of prime factors. So for instance, if we take 2 here, so we can write it as 2 into 2 because 1 is neither prime nor composite. So we can write it as 2 into 1. But here what we are telling, we can write as a product of prime factors. So here 1 is not a prime number. So let's do not consider this one, this example. So 2 simply can be written as 2. 4, we can write it as 2 into 2. Suppose if we have 253, how to write product of prime factors? We can write it as 11 into 23. So like that and so on. We have so many examples where a natural number like 2, 4, 253 can be written as the product of prime factors. So now let's look from other direction. Let's see in reverse way. So now the question is, can any natural number can be obtained by multiplying prime numbers? Previously what we have told, natural number can be written as product of prime factors like 2, 4, 253. Now what is the question? Can any natural number can be obtained by multiplying prime numbers? So what are the prime numbers? The numbers starting from 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, like that. We have some prime numbers. Let's try with some of the prime numbers. Okay. So now we have to multiply the prime numbers and we have to check whether we will get any number or not. So if we take numbers like this 7, 11, 13, 23 and if we multiply them, I am multiplying here 7, 11, 23. What number I have got? 1771. If I multiply 3, 7, 11, 23, then 5313. If I multiply 2, 3, 7, 11, 23, so 10,626. Like that. In same way, if I multiply different prime numbers, I am getting one natural number. So like this, how many positive numbers I'll get? Infinite, because we can produce a large collection of this kind of positive integers. If we multiply prime numbers, allowing them to repeat as many times as we wish, repeatedly, if we multiply them, we can produce large collection of positive numbers. In fact, we can say infinitely. So we can take a natural number can be written as prime number, product of prime numbers, or product of prime numbers will be resulting in a natural number. natural number. So now, based on this, we have a theorem called fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So based on just now what we have learned, in extension to it, we have a theorem called fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So here, what they have done, not prime number, they are checking with composite number. They have taken a composite number, and the question is whether it can be expressed as the product of prime factors or not. Product of prime factors or not. Suppose if we take 1092, how can we write it? 2 into 546 we can write. Again 546, 3 into 182 we can write. Again 182, 2 into 91 we can write. Again 91, 7 into 13 we can write. By prime factorization method, which we learnt in our earlier classes. So, if we have given a composite number, we can write composite number also in terms of prime factors. In terms of prime factors. So, if I multiply this 2, 3, 2, 7, 13, the product of these numbers, these prime factors, will give this composite number. Will give this composite number. So, the composite number also can be expressed as product of primes, but this product is unique. Means it's only one kind of such expression will exist. Only one kind of such expression will exist. Except the order in which the prime factors occurs, that may change. Here the numbers are unique. The elements in the product of prime factors, the elements are unique, but we may change the order. We can write 2, 3, 2, 7, 13, or we can write 13, 7, 2, 3, 2. Like that, in writing the product, we may change the order, but the elements do not change. The elements do not change. So this is called fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So here children, please try to understand the theorem. According to this theorem, what they have told, if we have given a composite number, that composite number can be expressed as product of primes, like 1092 can be expressed as product of primes, can be done factorization with that composite number, for that composite number. That factorization is unique. That factorization is unique. Means it exists in its by its own, like one kind. Unique. Except the order of prime factors in which we are representing. Okay, this is called fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So next. So actually, this fundamental theorem of arithmetic, its equivalent version was first, it was recorded in Euclid's Element. Before we are keeping the name as fundamental arithmetic, first time it appeared in Euclid's Elements. Euclid's Elements. So, but the first correct proof was given by Carl Friedrich Gauss. Carl Friedrich Gauss. This person has given the first correct proof of this fundamental theorem of arithmetic in his book. Disquisance Arithmetica. Disquisance Arithmetica. In his book, he has given the correct proof of this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Actually, he was often referred as Prince of Mathematics. Prince of Mathematics, this Carl Friedrich Gauss, and is considered as one of the three greatest mathematicians of all time, along with Archimedes and Newton. Along with Archimedes and Newton. So this person is Carl Friedrich Gauss. He has given the correct proof of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So next, suppose if we have question like this, determine the prime factors of the given number. Prime factors of given number. So with the help of prime factorization, we can do it. First, we have taken with 7 into some number we have written, again divided by 7, again divided by 13, next 13, next 17, next 17. So like this, they have represented the given composite number as the product of prime factors, which is unique. Okay, it cannot be represented as a product of prime factors in another way. It's impossible. Only in this way only it can be represented. We can keep 13 in the front, 19 in the front, like that. Order may change, but this expression we cannot change. So there are some theories related to this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. In that first one is if P be a prime number, A be a positive integer. If P be a prime number and A be a positive integer, if P divides A square, then P divides A. If P divides A square, then P divides A. So this is the first theorem. So according to it, 1 minute children. According to it, so let A equal to P1, P2, P3 and so on up to Pn. This is A value. Where P1, P2, P3, Pn are prime numbers which are not necessarily distinct. So we have a positive integer. A. Already we have learnt, according to fundamental theorem of arithmetic, any number can be written as a product of prime factors. So we have written A as a product of prime factors, P1, P2, P3 up to Pn, where all these P1 to Pn are prime numbers. So we have taken integer A. Now what about A square? A square means A into A. So whatever A value is there, we have to multiply 2 times A into A. So then what does it will become? P1 square, P2 square, P3 square up to Pn square. So A square value will be P1 square into P2 square into P3 square into and so on up to Pn square. So now what we are telling? It is given that P divides A square. So P divides A square means P to be a factor of A square. They are telling that P divides A square. What does it mean? P will be a factor of A square. What is A square? P1 square into P2 square into P3 square into and so on up to Pn square. So P must be a factor of any one or more of this P1 square, P2 square, P3 square. But this P1, P2, P3, Pn, they are all prime numbers. But they are all prime numbers. Means in P1 square, P2 square in this expression, they are just repeated twice. They are just repeated twice. So we have told that P is a factor of P1 square, P2 square, P3 square. But these are all just repeated. So P will be a factor of P1, P2, P3, Pn. Okay. So P divides P1, P2, P3, Pn, that number. So what is this number? This number is A. So P divides A. P divides A. So we have theorems like this. We have theorems like this which are extended forms of theorems of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Suppose, 1 minute. Suppose you have a number 30, which is equal to A. What is A square? 30 square, which is equal to 900. They are telling that P divides A square. P divides A square. 3 divides 900. So automatically 3 divides 30. Automatically 3 divides 30. If 3 divides 900, means P divides A square. So automatically P divides A. P divides A. This is the simple form of the theorem. Next children, one more theorem is there. If x is a rational number, whose decimal expansion terminates, means it is a terminating decimals, like 27 by 100, whose value is 0.27. It is an example of terminating decimal. This terminating decimal 0.27 can be expressed in the form of P by Q. Like 27 by 100. Where P and Q are co-primes. So here 27 and 100, they should be co-prime. Means they should not have any other factor other than 1. So then Q will be in the form of 2 power m and product of 2 power m and 5 power n, where m and n are non-negative integers. So here 0.27 is there. It is a terminating decimal. What we have done? We can write it as 27 by 100. Where what are the factors of 27? 1, 3, 9 3 the 27. These are the factors of 27. What are the factors of 100? It is divisible by 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25, 50, 100. So what is there any common factor except 1? No, because in both the cases 1 is the common factor. So they are co-primes. It is in the form of P by Q, where P is 27, Q is 100. Then P and Q are co-primes. At that time, this denominator 100, 1 minute children. This in 27 by 100, this denominator 100 will be written in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. So how to write 100? We can write it as 10 square. How to write 10? We can write it as 2 into 5. Which means 2 square 5 square. If square we take for both the numbers, we can write it as 2 square 5 square. So 27 by 100 means 27 by 10 square. How it has been written? 27 by 2 square into 5 square means can be written in the form of 2 power m 5 power n. Which one? Denominator q. Denominator q. Where this 2 and 5 are non-negative integers. 2 and m and n, which are in the powers. Let me tell you once again, children. So if we have 27 by 100, which is a terminating decimal 0.27, this 100 can be written as 2 square into 5 square. 2 square into 5 square. So here 27 and 100 are co-primes, and q can be written in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. Okay. This theorem also derived from extension of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay, children, let's see some examples regarding this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So the question is check whether 6 power n can end with the digit 0 for any natural number. So what is the question, children? Check whether 6 power n means the given number is 6 power n. They are asking that whether it will end, whether it will stop with the digit 0 for any natural number. Means in 6 power n, in the place of n, we can take any natural number like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that, if we go on taking the natural number, what happens to that value? In that value, at one's place, whether 0 will come or not, that we have to check. So let's see the solution. So here, any positive integer ending with digit 0, any positive integer ending with digit 0, 1 minute, digit 0 is divisible by 5. So it is divisible by 5. So its prime factorization, if we do the prime factorization for that number, it must contain prime number 5. It must contain prime number 5. So what is the given number here? 6 power n. The given number is 6 power n. But here 6 can be written as 2 into 3 as prime factors. So if we means 2 into 3 whole power n. Like that we can write 6 power n. If we take power for individual integers, then it will become 2 power n into 3 power n. 2 power n into 3 power n. Means the prime factorization consisting of only 2 and 3. Only 2 and 3. 5 does not occur in this prime factorization. So, as there is no 5 in the prime factorization, we can confidently tell that there will be no digit 0 for any natural number of n in the place of 6 power n. Okay. So here what they have told, children. Now we have to tell what is the given number here? 6 power n. What we have to tell? For any natural number 1, for any natural number like 1, 2, 3, 4, in the place of n, whether it will end with 0 or not. So ending with 0 means what? In the if it is ending with the digit 0, compulsorily there should be a prime factor 5. There should be a prime factor 5 in its expansion. But 6 power n, if we expand it, what we are having? 2 power n, 3 power n. There is no 5. Means 5 does not occur in the prime factorization of 6 power n. So it does not end with digit 0. They asked us to check what we have told, what we have done. We have checked it. And we can tell that it cannot end with 0 for any natural number. Why means, what is the reason means? In its prime factorization, there is no place for 5. There is no place for 5. Okay, children, next one. Find the next question. Find the LCM and HCF of 84, 90 and 120 by applying the prime factorization method. We have to find LCM value. We have to find HCF value of how many numbers? 3 numbers they have given in the question. For the 3 numbers, we have to find their LCM, their HCF. By which method? By prime factorization method. Let's see. Let's expand 3 numbers in terms of prime factors first. 84, 90 and 120. Next, by that we can find HCF and LCM. So here what we have done? 84 we have written as 2 square into 3 into 7. 2 square into 3 into 7. So here 90, how we have written? 2 square, 2 into 3 square. 2 into 3 square. Actually one number is missing here, children. 5 should be there. 2 into 3 square into 5. 2 into 3 square into 5. And 120, 2 cube into 3 into 5. 2 cube into 3 into 5. Like that we have written in terms of prime factors. So here, what are the factors occurring in all these 3 numbers? 2 is there, 3 is there. In first number 84, 5 is not there. But in second number 90 and 120, 5 is a factor. So 5 also we have to count. 7 also we have to count. So we have factors 2, 3, 5, 7. But least number of times, how many times they are occurring? In 84, 2 occurred 2 times. In 90, 2 occurred 1 time. In 120, 2 occurred 3 times. So 2 least number of times, in how many times it occurred? 1 time. In the expansion of 90. Like that. 3 also 1 time. Like that. 5. In the number 84, there is no 5. Means it occurred 0 times. 7. In the expansion of 90 and 120, there is no 7. So it occurred 0 times. Okay. Like that, least number of times, how many times exponent is occurring, that least exponent value we have to note down. Okay. In the same way, we have to note down. So we have to, 2 is 1 time, 3 is 1 time. We have to multiply all these terms. 2 power 1 because it is occurring 1 time. 3 power 1, it is occurring 1 time. So what value we will get? 6. There is no 5, there is no 7. If you multiply all the least exponents, 2 power 1, 3 power 1, 5 power 0, 7 power 0, we will get the value 6. So this will be considered as HCF. This acts as highest common factor of all the given terms. Means the highest number which can divide all the terms, which can divide all the terms, because 84, it is divisible by 6, 90, it is divisible by 6, 120 divisible by 6. Actually, these three numbers, 84, 90 and 120, they are divisible by 2, they are divisible by 3, they are not divisible by 5, they are not divisible by 7, they are divisible by 6. Out of all the numbers, which is the highest? 6 is the highest number which divides the given three numbers commonly. So common greatest divisor or greatest common divisor, GCD, or highest common factor. So we have to count the least exponent first. With that least exponents, we have to frame product of prime numbers with the least exponents. We have to frame one number, and that number will act like HCF or GCD of the given numbers. For finding LCM, what we have to do? For finding LCM, in the same way, in the expansion of all numbers, we have to take greatest common exponent. So here 2 times, 2 1 time, 2 3 times. What is the greatest exponent? 3. What about 3 here 1 time? 3 2 times, 3 1 time. So 3 2 times. What about 5? Here 5 is missing, children. 5 1 time. Like that, what about 7? 1 time. Like that, what about 7? 1 time. Okay. So here we have to multiply all these prime factors along with their exponents. Here some symbols are missing, children. It is not 23. 2 cube into 3 square into 5 power 1 into 7 power 1. If we multiply all these values, what we will get? 2520. 2520. It will be the least common multiple. It will be the least common multiple of the given numbers. So like this, for given numbers, we can find out HCF by writing least exponents. We can find out LCM by writing greatest exponents. Okay, by prime factorization method. Next. So in a morning walk, three persons step off together. So 3 persons, they are going for a morning walk. Their steps measure 80 centimeter one person, 85 centimeter second person, 90 centimeter third person respectively. So what is the minimum distance each should walk so that they can cover the distance in complete steps? So we have to find out minimum distance. So that by these numbers, with these steps, they can cover the distance equally, because the steps of 3 persons are different. One person is 80 centimeter, one person is 85 centimeter, another person is 90 centimeter. So we have to find a distance such that it can be covered with these 3 different types of steps. That we have to find out. So what we will do? Because they are asking minimum distance. So we have to find LCM. Okay. We have to find the LCM. Next. We have to find the LCM. So here, what are the given numbers? Given step, distance of each step, 80 centimeter, 85 centimeter, 90 centimeter. For finding LCM, what we have to do? We have to do prime factorization. We have to write the given numbers as a product of prime numbers. prime numbers. So 80 can be written as 2 power 4 into 5. So 85 can be written as 5 into 17. Not plus children. This is into 5 into 17. 90 can be written as 2 into 3 square into 5. 2 into 3 square into 5. So 2 into 3 square into 5. For finding LCM, what we have to do? The prime number with greater exponent, greater number of times of exponent, that we have to take. 2, the prime number 2, where it is occurring with the greatest exponent 2 power 4. It is the greatest exponent. Like that, 3. What is the greatest one? 3 square is the greatest. 5. 5 power 1 is the prime number with the greatest exponent. 17. One time. Greatest one time it is occurring. One time. Like that, all prime factors with their greatest exponents we have to take and we have to multiply for finding the LCM. Okay, children? Don't get confused here because we are telling LCM, least common multiple. And we are taking exponents with greater exponents. Prime numbers with greater exponents. Okay. So we have to take prime numbers with greater exponents, greatest exponents. 2 power 4 means 16, 3 square 9, 5 power 1 5, 17 power 1 17. We have to multiply all. So what we will get? 12240 centimeter, 12,240 centimeter. If we divide by 100, we can convert into meters and centimeter. Or after after 2 decimals from one's place, after 2 places if you keep a point, after 120, after 04, if you keep a point, then what happens? It will become 122 meter 40 centimeter. 122 meter 40 centimeter. So this is the minimum distance covered by 3 persons according to their steps. According to their steps. If the value is more than this one or less than this one, they cannot cover the distance with exact steps. With like 30 steps, 31 steps, like that, with exact number of steps they cannot complete. After, if the number is more or less, what happens? We have to count like 30 steps plus half step, 1/4 step will be pending or will be more. Exactly they cannot cover. Exactly we have to find means we have to find the LCM in this method. Okay. Next children, next concept. Up to now we have learnt fundamental theorem of arithmetic and some theorems related to that fundamental theorem of arithmetic and some example problems we have seen. So next concept, relationship between HCF and LCM of two natural numbers. Because if we have given two numbers, we will find out their HCF, and we can find their LCM. Now the question is there any relation between that four numbers? What are four numbers here? Given two numbers, their HCF one number, their LCM another number. The relation between these four numbers that we have to learn. So actually the HCF and LCM, their product will be equal to the product of given two natural numbers. Product of given two natural numbers. Here, if we have given two natural numbers, the product of two natural numbers will be equal to their product of HCF and LCM. This is true only for two natural numbers. If they give more than two natural numbers, this relationship will not work out. This will not exist. Suppose let's see one example with three numbers. So here 24, 60, 112. We have three numbers. and their HCF is 4. Already, suppose we have found already we find it that HCF, let it its value is 4. In the same way, LCM is 1680. LCM is 1680. Like that, we have three numbers. We know their HCF, we know their LCM. Now, according to this, if we multiply HCF and LCM, it should be equal to product of numbers. But if we multiply, these values are not equal. That's why they have given not equal to symbol there. So, in the case of three numbers, the product of three numbers is not equal to their product of HCF and LCM, because it is applicable only for two numbers. It is applicable only for two numbers. So here, let's see some example problems. Find the HCF and LCM of 84 and 144 by prime factorization method. Prime factorization method. So prime factorization we will do first. 84, we can write it as 2 square, 3 power 1, 7 power 1. 144, 2 power 4, 3 square. So HCF means what we have to do? We have to take the prime number with the least exponent. Least exponent. So here what is the least exponent? Here 2 square is there. Here 2 power 4 is there. Which one is least? 2 square is least. Here 3 power 1 is there. 3 square is there. Which is least? 3 power 1 is least. Here 7 power 1 is there. Here there is no 7. Means there is 7 power 0. Means no need to consider 7. No need to consider 7. So 2 square stands for 4. 3 power 1 stands for 3. 4 3 is 12. We have the HCF 12. We have the HCF 12. So in the same way, LCM. In the LCM, what we have to do? Greater exponent we have to take. 2 power 4 is the greatest. 3 square is the greatest. 7 power 1 is the greatest. If we multiply, what we will get? 1008. Multiply what we will get? 1008. According to the relationship, here the HCF is 12. LCM is 1008. If we multiply both these numbers, this value will be equal to product of 84 and 144. Product of 84 and 144. Product of 84 and 144. Okay, children, like that we can find with prime factorization method, or we can prove it with that HCF and LCM relationship method. So here one more question based on HCF and LCM. We have to find HCF and LCM of three numbers 6, 72, 120 by using prime factorization method. The relationship we cannot prove because three numbers are there. So we can find the HCF and LCM, but that relationship does not work out for this problem. So prime factorization, 6 we have written, 72 we have written, 120 we have written. So what are smallest powers? 2 power 1, 3 power 1, 5 power 0, because in 6 there is no 5. There is no 5. HCF means product of prime factors with smallest exponents. So 6. So greatest powers are 2 cube, 3 square, 5 power 1. LCM means product of prime factors with the greatest exponents. Like that we can find HCF and LCM. Okay, children, all this these are the basics. That's why we are covering the examples past. These basics already you have learnt. Here, one more question is there. Find the HCF by prime factorization method, hence find their LCM. After finding HCF, we have to find LCM according to the relationship, not by prime factorization method. So here, prime factorization of 96 and 404. First, 96 factors we will write. 404 factors we will write. HCF we can find. Now, their relation we will take. According to relation, we can find the LCM. According to relation, we can find the LCM. So here 96 means 2 power 5 into 3 power 1. They have written. 404 means 2 square into 101. What is the HCF? Product of common factors with least exponent. Here only 2 is repeated in both. So 2 is repeated in both. So 2 square is the least. 3 is not repeating. So we cannot take 3. 101 is not repeating. We can't take 101. Only 2 square means 4 is the HCF. 4 is the HCF. Okay. Now what is the relationship? HCF and LCM equal to product of two numbers. What is the HCF? 4. What is the LCM? We don't know. What are the two numbers? 96 into 404. So this 4 will go that side. LCM will stay here. This 4 will go towards the right hand side. So LCM equal to left hand side numbers by 4. So what we will get? 9696. This will be the HCF. Sorry, this will be the LCM. This will be the LCM. Okay children, that's all for today. Thank you for watching our video. Some more concepts we will be learning in our next video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates. Thank you children. Have a good day.